Good evening. Welcome to the 2018 Hall of Fame interviews. We will start off with Andy Metzler, Kettering Fairmont class of 1995. Andy earned 3 varsity letters in men's basketball from 1992 to 1995. His junior year, he started every game, scoring 463 points and averaging 20.6 points per game in Western Ohio League play and 19.3 overall. He was named First Team All-League, First Team All-District, and he was named Team MVP and Western Ohio League Player of the Year. He led the Firebirds to the district finals that year, averaging 27 points per game in the tournament as the team finished 17-7. As a senior, he was again named First Team All-WOL, First Team All-District, Team MVP and WOL Player of the Year. On top of that, he was named Third Team All-Ohio. The Firebirds posted a 20-5 record and won the district championship, which was Fairmont's first district championship in any sport. Andy was named Most Valuable Player for the District 15 All-Star game, and he won the All-Star Slam Dunk competition prior to the game. For the season, Andy averaged 23.4 points per game in league play and 24.2 points per game overall. His total of 605 points his senior year is still an all-time record at Fairmont for points in a season. Andy was the first Firebird to score 1,000 points in his career, finishing with 1,139. That record stood until it was broken in 2007. His single game scoring record of 47 points against Wayne was broken this year. After high school, Andy played basketball at the University of Dayton. He is one of only 2 former Firebird boys basketball players to receive Division I scholarships in the history of Kettering Fairmont. He graduated from UD with a degree in marketing and currently works in the finance department at the City of Dayton. Welcome, Andy. It's a long intro.
Well, thank you, Larry. It's very, very nice.
Andy, you played on 2 of the best teams in Fairmont history, your junior and senior years. 2 of my favorite teams, having watched all the teams leading up to that point. What, besides the obvious talent, made those teams so special?
Well, talent certainly helps, but I think we just had a great group of guys. I mean, I had seven guys in my class, so we had a long history of playing together. You get to understand everybody's strengths and try to play to that. We had a head coach and Coach Casey that really demanded a lot of attention to detail and the fundamentals. I think it was just kind of a combination of everybody playing for each other, playing together, that really helped us be successful.
Was there a different attitude on those teams that made you better?
I would say most people would say those teams had a little toughness to us. We had some guys on the team, Tony Renzo coming over from football, and Brian Leffley was a tough as nails point guard. They weren't gonna let us be pushed around, and I think that attitude really did help us help us win a lot of games.
Andy, as you look back on your playing days at Fairmont, what are some of the highlights that come to your mind?
Oh gosh, take me back that long.
Testing your memory here.
There's obviously, the tournament games, the game against Wayne. We don't think ever lost to Centerville when I was here. Beating Alter, but I think when I look back at a lot of that, what really stands out is a lot of the stuff we did kind of away from the court, the summer leagues, the spring leagues, the traveling to open gyms together. All of the work we did outside of the organized team activities that really did carry forward into the season once we got started. But just the bond of hanging out with the guys and working to try to get better.
Andy, talk about that night in the old Fairmont gym when you lit up Wayne for 47 points. I happened to be the announcer for that game, and you just kept hearing Andy Metzler's name in by the time we looked down at the end of the game, you had 47 points. Tell us about that night.
Well, I mean, you really don't even think about that. I mean, that was a conference game. It was a close game. You know, it was just, you know that you're playing well. Obviously, I mean, you know that you're, you know, knocking down shots, and you know, as the game progresses, you know, everybody's doing their part to try and you know, help you get open and try to keep it going. But you know, there really wasn't a lot of time to think about that. We were trying to win a basketball game, and I think it came down to, you know, Paul McKee hitting 2 free throws with no time left to send it to overtime, where we were able to pull it out.
I thought
So,
it
you know,
was an overtime game.
big conference, you know, big conference win.
That record stood until just a few weeks ago. Were you aware that it was broken?
I had heard through the grapevine. Yeah.
At what point that night could you feel like you were in the zone and this was a special night?
Gosh, probably sometime middle of the first quarter. I mean, if I remember correctly, I started off pretty hot, probably hit, you know, 5 out of the first 6 or so. You know, it just kind of progressed from there.
So
But it was definitely a special night for sure.
Yeah. Did Coach Casey make any kind of adjustments to get the ball into Metzler's hands?
Not that I remember. I mean, that's Coach Casey was never one to, you know, specifically try to be concerned with any kind of individual accolades. But, you know, I know the guys on the floor were you know, maybe paying extra attention to try and see what we could do. But I mean, at the end of the game, I think if I remember correctly, I mean, I took 24 shots. So in a game that was in the 80s, I mean, it certainly wasn't the only one that was shooting or scoring. So I mean, it was certainly still a team effort. But yeah, it was a special night. It's always fun to kind of get it going like that. You know, I was fortunate to have a couple of games in my career like that. But
It was a special night.
It was a fun night for sure.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I think didn't that break the single game scoring record that you had set earlier? Am I right about that? 34, I think.
Good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we were never aware of it, that there was any scoring record at that time.
Coach Casey did not.
Wasn't big on individual statistics.
Yeah.
Probably rightfully so.
Yeah. Well, and it showed in the team play that you always saw with you guys on the floor. You played in the District 15 All-Star game after the season against the best players in this part of the state of Ohio. Talk about that.
I mean, that was just a fun event to be a part of. That was up at the old Hobart Arena before I believe they've torn that down by now. But you know, Southwest Ohio always traditionally has had some really talented players. So to get to play against, you know, some of the best, handful of guys from our conference, from other conferences, was fun. You know, good preparation for, you know, the days to come.
What were you, 6'3"?
6'2", 6'3".
6'2", 6'3".
Depends on which program you're looking at.
And you won the slam dunk contest. What do you remember about that?
Seems unlikely, doesn't it?
Do you remember what you did to win the contest? What was the winning dunk like?
I think the winning dunk was I jumped over Brian Leffley and somebody else. There was 2 guys. You know, there may have been a 360 in there or something separate. But
Fun times.
long time ago.
Yeah.
Not going to win any dunk contests.
You're not dunking anymore?
Donuts.
Who were some of the people who influenced you the most during your playing days at Fairmont?
I mean, obviously, Coach Casey had a lot of influence. You know, Coach Ramey, Kyle Ramey was an assistant. Doug Weicker, Gerald Saunders were. I'll never forget Gerald Saunders. I think did some stuff with the JV, but he was a great guy. His philosophy was always shoot it before you turn it over. So Andy, just shoot it before you turn it over.
And Gerald Saunders could shoot too.
Yeah, that wasn't always in line with Coach Casey's philosophy, but that's always something that stuck with me. So
great. After high school, you went on to become a fan favorite at UD. There was always a electricity in the air when Andy Metzler came off the bench. Talk about the experience of playing in college.
Whole different ball game. You know, you leave high school and you think you can play a little bit, and you get to Division I at that level, and you know, you go on the road and you play against Marcus Camby at UMass when they were #1. But it was a great experience. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Certainly, being a local kid, being able to go to UD, and all of the local support that comes along with that was a humbling experience. And you know, hopefully, you know, my style of coming in and trying to play hard, a lot of what, you know, I learned here at Fairmont was something that carried forward into college.
At Division I, every kid you play against was a star in high school.
Right. Everybody was,
Yeah.
you know, all conference, all state.
Right.
So just try and find your niche and do what you can.
Okay, now you're a Fairmont Hall of Famer. What advice do you have for young basketball players coming up through the Firebird pipeline today?
Yeah, just play hard, keep your head down, you know, be a good teammate. You know, all of the individual stuff, if it's meant to be, will happen. You know, as a member of a successful team or program. I mean, I wouldn't, you know, ever focus on trying to be the leading scorer, trying to, you know, set records or something. Just, you know, play the game, play hard, be a good teammate. You know, good things will come as a result of that.
Good stuff, Andy. Congratulations on a very well-deserved honor, and enjoy the weekend.
Thank you, sir.